Welcome to the In My Opinion Show with Ronald Barrington Robinson and friends, seen on the internet 24 hours a day, and welcome our millions of viewers worldwide. I especially want to welcome our very talented co-host, Mrs. Jackie Williams.
Hello, everyone.
And Mr. Henry Hatter.
Hi, Ron. Good to be here.
Thank you. Those that have viewed the proceedings as it reflects on U.S. Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh, what are your thoughts? Will he be nominated to the highest court in America? Indications as of Saturday the 6th of 2018, it appears that he just might be the next Supreme Court, U.S. Supreme Court justice. Does he have the temperament? Is he trustworthy? If appointed, will he turn back Roe versus Wade and other hard-fought gains? Jackie, let's go with you on this. I'm very interested and concerned about Roe versus Wade and the LGBTQ people and minorities, especially under this Trump administration.
Well, this might surprise you, probably would make Henry's day, but, we have to be careful to separate church and state. And one of the problems that I have with this whole nomination committee is that we're changing the rules as we go. And this is a historical appointment, and it is a lifetime appointment. So I'm not understanding what the rush is, because we need to take time to make sure that we're doing what's right. And this person will be the final vote on the Supreme Court that will change many things. And when I say that is, you have to consider this is not your house. So when you are a judge, and this is what one of the retired judges have come out and said, when you are a judge, you are not a Democrat, you are not a Republican, you are justice. And justice is, as Henry always say, blind. So you should not have party lines in your mouth. You should not be siding with anyone, regardless to if Donald Trump nominated you. You still should stand in the middle. I have not seen this guy stand in the middle. So this is why the protests are so at large, and this is why people have flown in to talk to their congressmen, is because this is not a clean nomination. Because this is clearly, through his writings, he has spoken about the president shouldn't have any boundaries. He should not even be investigated. He should be able to have firing power. This does nothing but unite that same out of control White House that we have been looking at for the last 17 months, I guess. It's just really sad. And the other thing is, when they asked him questions, was Roe versus Wade, was that final? Was that something that he needs to look at? He never really answered the question. Now, you're supposed to be on the board to even look at these things. And if it's final, it's not that hard for you to say that it's a done deal. It's not that hard, but you never wanted to talk about it. And so Donald Trump picked this guy because even the Republicans did not want him selected, because he kind of was not where they wanted a lot of issues to fall. But Donald Trump picked him solely because he had the viewpoint of the president like he has. But he also has wrote in previous sightings on the federal bench that he feel women should not have the right to exercise abortion or even have that control. I think it was a case where it was a girl that was 14 or something, and he said she didn't have any legal right to make a decision about her body. So this is getting ready to change and shape America according to your theory and how your house should run. But this should be made solely on granting rights where they belong. Period.
I agree with you very, very wholeheartedly because he has that swing vote.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
On the Supreme Court. And I'm just frightened, really, about Roe versus Wade. I've never understood why, those people in Washington, primarily majority male, wants to tell a woman what she can or cannot do with her
older
body.
White male.
All right? See, and I think that's wrong. That's none of their doggone business. All right? If a woman wants to have an abortion, I mean, I'm kind of like in the middle, you know. A lot of people are pro-abortion and anti-this, that, but you got to think about if a woman gets pregnant by accident or rape or whatever, okay, these guys are saying, have it anyway. So now, let's look at the long term here. What could possibly happen to these babies? Okay, every time you turn the news on, some little kid is getting murdered.
Good point.
Okay, it's ridiculous.
If you make me have a baby and I've been raped, you don't know the abuse level that I might have, because when I look at this child, I look at the act. I'm not looking at it in love, because sometimes I can't see past the act.
That's
and so
right, and
for
the hurt
you
and
to
the pain.
tell me that what I can do, you don't know what I'm capable of doing, because we got people who are leaving kids outside right now, and you don't even want to pass any kind of laws to help accommodate the health of these children or help pay for their health care, but you want me to have some more children. And how are they going to be supported? How are you going to support them? So if you're telling me that I can't have an abortion and I don't even have a right in my own body, then you should also have a trust fund set up to help me take care of this child.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the agencies are overloaded. With unwanted children. I mean, look at the mindset of these children, okay, that have been locked away. Look at the mindset of these babies that are being locked up, on the Texas and Arizona border by this Trump foolishness. Okay, sooner or later, there's going to be all hell to pay with these children, because they'll soon be adults, young teenagers and adults. All right,
rebellious.
Now, exactly,
rebellious.
And it's unnecessary. Henry.
Well, Ron, I look at the Supreme Court nomination without malice or without predetermined dispositions, because I think I should look at it that way, because I don't know what the American people are thinking right now. I don't know, and I know that Kavanaugh was nominated because of his youth, and they wanted, at least this is part of the explanation, they wanted a person that would last on the court for 30 to 40 years, longevity, to maintain the balance and sense and disposition of the court, and that's favorable to the Republican perspective. The Democrats would want the same thing. So I'm waiting for for it to go through the process, and they just went through the Justice Department FBI investigation. They had that, and they said they didn't find anything different that would change their minds. Well, who am I to say, no, you got it wrong? That's the process, whether it's flawed or not, but that's the process. And we all have to live by that process. And all things are not fair and balanced to all the people who look at it. Now, you mentioned that this justice didn't have, Kavanaugh didn't have the right temperament. But look at temperament. What is temperament? Temperament is determined by your belief system, your trust,
or your lack of belief system.
Well, and your actions.
Nevertheless, the belief system.
Did you see his actions in the interviews?
Yeah, but I'm not to that yet.
Okay.
But remember, temperament would be different for all of us. We would each have a different temperament.
I'm not running for the justice. I'm not running for the Supreme Court. You can't just throw that out there like that.
Yes, I can.
A retired Supreme Court justice said that his temperament wasn't right. The retired guy.
And that guy was right?
He's been there. And he said you should not be able to see what he's thinking.
That's only one incident out of multiple incidents. This one person said, his temperament is not right. How does he know?
He's not the only person that said his temperament was not right.
Millions have said that.
Millions have said it.
Well, they have not stood back and let the process to evolve. You only make that after you have lots of information that will cause you to move in one way or the other. But temperament is based on what you believe and how you behave. Temperament is determined by who the person is, his value system or her value system. So you can't say you can't have the right temperament.
No, I'm not saying you don't have any
that
values, but you still should
but
be
they throw
disrespectful.
that around.
You can't be disrespectful. His temperament went beyond that, Henry. Be honest.
Yes.
He got to the point was, what is your favorite drink? First of all, that's sarcastic, it's unprofessional, and it's not even a part of a judged behavior. So my point is, if I didn't do these things that you said, now you just lied about basic stuff. You know, you got sexual assault, but you told everybody you were a virgin. Okay, I got past that. Then you told them that you never had a drink. You got your college roommate saying you were drunk all the time, but the FBI did not investigate them, did not speak with him. He's yelling from the top of the mountain, listen to me, I live with this guy. He is not who he say he is. Several of his friends came in that circle. They might not be able to substantiate her accusation for sexual assault, but they can come back and say that he sat there and lied under oath and said that he never was a drunk, he never blacked out. If you are a drinking person, I'm a child of a former alcoholic, and I say this to you, it's many things that my father cannot remember because he blacked out. So let's be real. Let's be real.
Also, let's be real about one other thing too. One damn week is not going to really is not long enough to investigate what needed to be investigated. Okay, the Republicans just pushed that through with no regard of trying to find out the truth.
Now, I hope that the public understands. I know that they're looking at this. Now, while you two guys were talking, I said nothing. I listened to you to see what you were saying, internalized it. And that's why I can go through and ask you questions about your temperament here. But you guys are not letting me
finish. Go
hold
ahead.
my views.
I'm being quiet. I'm internalizing
We
it
yield
too.
to you, Grandpa. Go ahead. Go ahead. All that slow talking. Go ahead.
No, it's deliberate talking. You have to know what you're talking about.
Okay, well, let me hear it then, Henry.
So, I think I was talking about temperament and why you don't necessarily base your evaluation of Judge Kavanaugh on temperament. Temperament, everybody has it. You know, and there's criteria for measuring it, but everybody has it, and that's only one that can be used. But I believe that when you say he got upset, well, you look what we're doing to this person, this man that has gone to college, and I don't believe everything that was said by the candidate for the Supreme Court. But nevertheless, he has a right to defend accusations that are brought against him.
Oh, of course.
And some of them were probably not true.
I agree.
But-
He has a
and
right to
there's a
defend, but he
process.
doesn't have to. No, he
The
went
process.
beyond that. He went
The
beyond that.
Yeah, but you were going to let me explain here.
Go ahead.
You know, he has a right to defend himself. He has worked all these years, risen to where he is, has a family, a respectable family, a respectable wife, and maybe one or two children, very young children. And the young girl says, "Dad, I hope you get through this." And he's crying on TV. I thought that might have been
Fake.
well, see, that's the perspective that you come from. But there are other people looking at this and say, what would I do in the same situation if I was berated by people who have causes that they can't prove against me?
You
How
would
would
be
you
just
feel?
like you'd be just like every other person that has to face it. You would be a man or you would be a woman. Yes, you would.
I don't know.
Henry, because you stand there all the time, and you in your position, you've dealt with many things that was not true, and you didn't get on TV and start yelling and screaming and asking people what their favorite drink was. This is what I'm saying. It went beyond defending what was the accusation. He went beyond that, and he started saying sarcastic stuff about how the Clintons, this was the Clintons' revenge. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the other stuff.
I think he might have lost some points there.
Trying to shift the blame.
Yeah.
But nevertheless,
Get the heat off of
I
him.
can forgive him for that.
I'm
Because
sure you
everybody makes those kind of mistakes. We're not good gods.
No,
we're
I'm
not gods.
We're not gods,
And-
period. So I understand
And we're not
that.
trying to get
Flaws.
to the highest
And
office.
Kavanaugh has flaws just like we all do.
Right.
But flaws, there are some flaws that are prohibited if you're running for public service, right? Offices.
Right.
You want to serve in the public. But I didn't see any of those. There were accusations and stuff like that. And I don't know whether all of the accusations are true. I'm waiting for the sentiment of the public and
They
the
have spoke.
investigators.
You haven't seen the polls?
Well, no.
You haven't seen the polls? The polls, they're
Yeah,
greatly
I've seen
against it. Okay. But the other piece that you're missing, and I want everybody to understand this, as a woman, I stand here and I say this right now, and this is very important. Sexual assault is hard to prove, but it doesn't mean that it did not happen. But he is not the only victim. This woman had 2 doors to her house because she is paranoid to be in a place. So, and I want you to understand, we can suppress, the mind is a beautiful thing. It's the best computer there
That has
is.
not been proven yet.
Yes,
that
it's suppressed. No, I'm
that
saying
he
suppressed.
sexually assaulted that woman.
I didn't say, I've said
Okay.
that he's not the only victim. She came out. She did not want to come out. She came out and they treated her as though she just picked him. This report
Who
was
treated her that way?
I'm gonna say,
You
what's
see,
the word?
part
Look
of
for
the world-
Republicans.
There are
Lindsey
50%.
Graham. Let's call it who it is.
Oh,
Lindsey
Graham was excellent on the show.
No, to you, of course.
Yeah,
In your
I
camp,
thought he
in
was.
my camp, he
He
isn't.
supported the man's reputation.
He
He
supported.
said that we didn't have enough to know.
No,
about
he didn't
whether
even
this happened or
care.
not.
When the FBI was doing their
But I'm on the victim side too. But you got to prove it to me.
No, I'm trying to explain something to you. Just like Sonny said, Halston said, sexual assault is hard to prove. So instead of him just sitting here like the victim, there's other victims here. She's had to move 3 times. He hasn't had to move 1 time.
Moved from where?
She's moved from her home 3 times. She has.
It was probably not his fault. They went. This happened 42 years ago.
It doesn't
32?
matter
Hang
how
on,
long
hang
ago
on,
it
hang on a
You're
minute.
not listening.
Hang on a minute. She had all these years to bring these claims against this guy.
Have you ever been sexually assaulted?
No, I haven't.
Okay, I
And
have.
wouldn't want to be.
Nobody is picking to be sexually assaulted. Come on, Henry. What I'm saying to you is this: when you're sexually assaulted, you have to get up the nerve to be able to deal with this and relive all of this damaging information. So what I'm saying to you is this woman came forward. She didn't come forward just like it's noted this year. She has already talked to her doctor previously about these accusations and called him before he was even nominated. So this wasn't a setup. This is what I'm talking about. Instead of acting like the person that just, the victim, listen to the information. She had noted this way before he was even nominated. When she found out that he was in the final, she thought she should come forth so they will know this information. So again, I repeat, she didn't suppress this information. She had been talking about it. It was several people that knew about this account. And then they even talked to the schools. There's some serious issues in those schools that they attended. I'm not saying that he did it. I'm saying it's a lot of stuff that went on that shouldn't have went on. And I understand it's still going on.
It will still go on in the future. What kids do during their lifetime in those kind of circumstances will always go on the same way. And I'm not excusing Brett Kavanaugh either. And I'm not against all women because of this happening. My mother was a woman. My
Really?
wife was a woman. My daughters are women. I
Right.
protect their interests. I protect all women. All the kids that I represent at schools who are not males are women.
Right.
And I give my best sentiment. And,
So you have to put that shoe on the other foot, Henry. If your daughter came to you and told you when she was a young girl that somebody did something to her, she might not be able to prove it. She might not have the proof. So just because it's been years, do you just discredit it?
No.
Well, this is the same situation.
I would probably be mad.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So it has happened. Look at all the priests.
But I don't know that my daughter would accuse somebody who didn't do it.
And you don't know that he didn't do it.
Yeah, but I'm saying that I don't think my daughter would accuse a person.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm
Now,
not talking
let
about
me
a
say
false
this.
accusation.
Let me say this. I don't think that she would ever make a claim against a kid or a person where it was not true.
And so why do you think Dr. Ford did it? That wasn't
Or
true.
Ramirez.
I don't know.
Why would
I
you
don't-
say that she
I don't
did
know.
it? And then
We
even the
didn't-
second
I
person,
didn't say
are
that
you,
that hasn't been proven yet.
right?
I'm
They
waiting for
didn't
the
look
proof,
for it.
the evidence.
This is the other thing. The second lady, he said he'd never seen her. You know, there's a picture of them sitting in a picture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a picture of them sitting right there. He said he had never seen her and never talked
Do
to
you
her.
think that there are opportunists also out there?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
That's what we got to weed out. We got to weed out
But
the
weed out stuff that don't
opportunists.
make sense, but stuff that makes sense, I want you to acknowledge.
Yeah, yeah.
Acknowledge stuff
Yeah.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I'm saying. Make it make sense. That's all I'm telling you.
And
don't
we're
sit
on
up
the
here.
same track. We're on
Yeah,
the
don't
same
sit up
track.
here holier than thou. You're getting ready to rule on my body and you couldn't even control yours. Don't do that.
We want to be on the. I think we're on the same track.
We're almost on the same page,
Yeah.
but I think you're on the edge of the page and I'm on the other side.
Oh, well, I think you're doing a good job in supporting the woman, and that's what we need to do through discussion,
Yes, I need
through
people
dialogue.
to understand.
But
You
not-
might not be able to, and I'll go back to the priest. Look at the priest that we had that molested all these boys. They didn't have any physical evidence that they were molested. They took their what? Word of mouth. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So what's the difference, Henry?
Well, there are some allegations and also some truths about the priest. Now, and I think the system is trying to do its best to weed out those. That happened yesterday. It happened a long time ago, and it will happen tomorrow. What we have to do is we may never be able to solve that problem completely, but what the government must do is minimize the impact of that.
And you know what? And then
And
what
yet-
we have to
with a
do is we have to respect the woman when she comes forward, because your own president, which was a foul, is when he got up at a rally and mocked her. And this is what I'm talking about. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. You should have a moral compass that tells you that these things are offsides. I don't care if I'm at a rally. It's certain things I should not use to go against a side, because she never stood up as a Democrat. She just contacted her congressman. She never said she was a Democrat. If you ever paid attention to her, she never said she was a Democrat. She just contacted her congressman, which happened to be a Democrat. So it's not a democratic situation.
I have not seen that. I have not.
And she has nothing to gain.
And all that stuff is not important to me.
It isn't.
But
It should
what
be
is important to me is let the process work.
Okay.
All these erroneous
If somebody came to me,
daggers coming from every direction, I can't deal with them.
if my
It
daughter came to
confuses
me and told me that, Dad, I've been sexually assaulted, all right, well, whoever it was, they better, I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming
And I
coming
have
strong.
to get out of Dodge, don't I?
Well,
You know what I
we
mean?
have to
Really?
be careful. We have to
Okay.
be careful because our voice is important.
Yeah.
Our voice is important regardless of if it's a man or a woman. Our voice is important. So that's back to Kavanaugh. Your voice is getting ready to speak on behalf of the American people. I need your voice to be the voice of the American people and not your voice that you have at home. It should be two different
I
people.
respect everything that you're saying, but these are all allegations.
I'm not talking about that.
Hang
I'm
on
talking
now.
about back to
But let me just clarify something so that we can all understand where we're going with this argument and why it's important that we discuss this at this table, whether people agree with us or not. But we need to lay it out on the table and find out what the truth is.
Right.
And I'm there for the truth, not to favor Kavanaugh, not to favor the woman, but the truth, so that this never happens again.
Thousands of men and women are in prison right now over allegations. Okay? Over allegations. And when you get a number of allegations like this guy has gotten, all right, there's got to be some truth to it somewhere. And what they did, okay, with this I can't really say what I want to say on television about this FBI investigation. 1 week is not enough. It's not enough to find out the background of this character. All right.
Well, first of all, you
He's
guys
got
said
to be
do
held.
the background test. Let the FBI go in and do it. Okay,
Well,
they've done that.
No,
they said,
no,
don't
no,
move,
no.
hang
They
on,
did.
hang on.
They
It
did
says
a
don't move
half-ass.
the
They did a
decision.
half-ass job.
They were handcuffed.
They were
One
supposed
week.
to. They were
1
supposed
week.
to make the decision last
But they
week.
were handcuffed. They
One
were
week.
handcuffed. Your
Okay.
president gave them. They couldn't even talk to the victims.
Why don't you just call him the president?
No, because he's
He's
not.
the
He's your
president.
president. He ain't my
President.
president.
He's the president. No, he
No,
made
nothing to me.
he
Guys, hang
no.
on. We
He's
shouldn't
worse-
even-
he's
we
worse
shouldn't
than
even
Kavanaugh.
be discussing this if we can't go by protocol. And by our definition, he is the president of the United States. Whether you like it or not, he is the president. And the people of the United States listen to that president.
You might.
You listen.
I don't.
But then you don't better the country either.
Well, how can you better the country when you have somebody who doesn't even respect the country?
That's your perspective.
No, and that's my
perspective. Has to be a balanced, well thought out perspective that does no harm.
And so, what is
my
right?
People.
My right, freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
I freely can say that he is your president.
Yeah.
And I cannot be convicted. Am I correct?
Yes.
I passed that class, Henry.
Yeah. Okay.
I can say that he is your president,
but
because he doesn't represent anything
that I stand for.
There are young
people out there looking at you.
Absolutely.
And they're the main ones that's upset.
There are young people looking at you. And we're supposed to be a moral compass for young people. How we treat.
How can we be a moral compass and he don't even know what a moral compass is?
Please?
Go ahead.
I don't speak while my adversary is speaking. But we have an obligation to our kids, who will be a third of the leadership of this country in 32 years. Mm-hmm. And we have to show temperament and balance, and we can't do that because we don't look for the truth. We don't look for justice. We don't look for fairness. We're convicting Kavanaugh.
I didn't say that.
Right? Even
I said,
without,
but do a right
having
process.
And
I say to the people, stand up in the polls, stand up, get rid of this administration, stand up today. Do not let this continue to go on. It's little stuff that's going on because we're all focused on the judge. It's all kinds of things in our environment is going on. Stand up today. That's what I say. Stand up.
Here's the one thing I want people to hear as they hear this conversation, and I hope they take a look at it. We, as a subgroup of the American population, never look better than we do today.
What?
I don't agree.
Hang on. You didn't ask me a question. You guys just go off.
Because it's not true.
Hang on.
You're just talking
Let
stuff.
the other people talk.
We look better in what way?
We are better off today. And it wasn't done by Congress. It wasn't done by Republicans. It wasn't done by Democrats. Look at how we look. Use TV, for example. Look at all of the interests that we professionally support for the population, whether it's banking, whether it's judges, whether it's education, whether it's the environment. On TV, we are well represented, and we do a good job, and everybody knows that.
You think
and
we're
all of
well
a sudden,
and that's,
we look like we're part of the American population in a democratic and free society. We've always strived to get there, and we're close to there. And our kids now see us in a different light than they did 20 years ago. We used to be subjugated people, had no backbone, had no platform. But we're there now, and our kids now can move ahead. They can move up if we allow them to do that. But you can't.
How can you say that, Henry? When
I can
we
say
have
it. I
a
just
situation,
did.
I know you can say it, but if that was the case, we would not have the situation where we're bowing or we're kneeling down at the American Star Spangled Banner because it doesn't represent all of us. If that was the situation, Henry, we wouldn't have all of these unauthorized shootings of all of these people.
Shootings got nothing to do with this conversation.
Yes, it does, because we're saying that we have moved the needle. Yes, I said we moved the needle, but it hasn't been moved enough. Well, we need to celebrate.
Well,
we have
needles
a long way to
move
go.
too fast is a prescription for disaster.
Well, ours is a
we're on a way. We're on a move to righteousness. All right,
and what's righteousness? It depends on who's looking at it.
Change the dynamics of what's going on in this country. At this time, it's been a very interesting conversation, but we will revisit this. Until next time, this is Ronald Barrington Robinson and friends saying, until next time, stay focused.